Hey guys, what's up? And today I'm joined by Luke and Shad. Now today we're going to be going over like our predictions for the Book of Boba. That is the new show coming out in December, and I am pretty excited for it. I could probably say that these two guys are excited for it.
I mean,
definitely
not as much as Mandalorian, but I am pretty excited for it
Agreed.
because we haven't gotten a Star Wars show or any new Star Wars stuff that's actually, like consistently good in a long time.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess today we're just gonna kind of go over like what we think's gonna happen in the show, like, where could they go with the story, and we might even talk about Mandalorian season 3 a little bit, just because that kind of ties into this a little bit, But guys, remember, I'm trying to get to 100 subs by 2022, so make sure to hit that subscribe button, and also subscribe to Entertainment Crew, because they are pretty awesome. And let's get started. Okay, our first category is Fennec Shand. As you could see, she kind of like stood beside Boba Fett when he sat down on the throne in the post-credit scene, and it is pretty obvious that she is going to be in this show because she is listed in the cast for the show and everything, and obviously she was in the post-credit scene, so it's pretty obvious, obviously she was in the Mandalorian a lot, and she was also in the Bad Batch. Now, I haven't seen all of the Bad Batch yet, so, yeah, I'm not going to be too caught up on that, but obviously I did see the Mandalorian, and she was in that. So I do think she's going to be in this show, and I'm kind of interested to think, what are they going to do with her character, How is she going to kind of tie into Boba Fett and everything? So what do you guys think about her in the show?
Honestly, I think her whole shtick is that she's a very bad bounty hunter, right? She could beat you up. She's so strong. She's toe-to-toe with the Mandalorian. That's all she has. Like, she's not really that interesting. I don't know much about her. I guess she has a little bit of compassion, as shown in the Bad Batch. But I don't really care for her, to be honest. I'm watching the show for Boba, not for her, really. She's just like a side thing going on. What do you think, Luke?
So, Fennec Shand, in my personal opinion, there's only one direction they can go with her character that will lead her out of the boringness. I think that Boba Fett and Fennec Shand have to have something going on, man. They have to have a little bit of spice going on. Maybe she fancies him, you know what I mean? Maybe they're going to show a little bit about that in this show. That'd be interesting, seeing Boba Fett in a relationship. They have kind of like a little dynamic going on. Maybe then she won't be so bland and boring.
Alright, next category?
Next category is going to be Jabba's palace, because obviously at the post-credit scene of The Mandalorian, you had them going in and shooting Bib Fortuna, which made me cry. No, I'm just kidding. And then they, took the throne and everything. So obviously Boba Fett is going to be kind of like in charge of Jabba's palace and stuff, right? And there's going to be some stuff with that. So I think that could be pretty cool, I mean, I'm kind of running out of stuff to say. Shad, how about you?
That would be pretty cool. Like, we know who Boba is, but I'd like to see how he would run things, how he would he be brutal like Jabba was to the people of Tatooine? Or would he be actually kind of like, a nice guy, kind of like fighting for the regular people in Tatooine? Or like just being, in the middle? I'd like to see how he manages the entire place, if he does rule the section of Tatooine that Jabba rules. And I'm overall just excited to see Boba's development and what his personality is, how he acts like in this part of his life and in this age. Because we've seen him as young Boba, we've seen him as, probably 30-year-old, 40-year-old Boba. I want to see him now. I want to see how he is now with all that experience.
So for me, I think that the main thing that will happen, a good storyline they could do, is obviously you have King Boba and Queen Fennec Shand. And I think that every time there's a new ruler, like in most storylines, they're not just going to let them rule. They're going to be challenged. So what I think is Boba is gonna have to go up against someone to challenge for like, they're like, oh, we're just gonna let you come in here, you know? Like Jabba already had authority and he already was ruling for a while and no one really, like, people already feared him. But with Boba, he's a new dude. People are gonna challenge him. People are gonna try to maybe take it from him, you know what I mean? So I think we're gonna see a little bit of storyline with that. So that's what's coming into my head right now when thinking about him ruling on Tatooine. So yeah.
You know what I could see? I could see it having like a sort of, this show having like sort of a tone of like, you know, like a mafia movie. Like, oh, there's other crime families, you know, obviously not crime families, but you know what I mean? Like, you know, he has to go against other criminal bosses and, you know, try to take them out. I could see that happening.
Yeah, so I think what Luke said was kind of cool, you know, if you had like some, like maybe he has to go against, I don't know, some big alien creature, you know, and do some challenges to kind of prove that he is like the king of Jabba's palace or whatever. And then also like Shad was talking about what they're gonna do with Boba himself. And I'm kind of interested to see how like Tamara Morrison, how he's gonna like take the role and everything. So yeah, that should be pretty interesting. But you guys ready to move on to the next category?
Yeah.
Yep.
So our next little category is the fact that maybe there could be additional bounty hunters. And more specifically, I was thinking maybe Bosk could be in the show, and maybe IG-88 could be in the show. And that would be really cool, especially Bosk, because I would just love to see him like kind of as a bigger character in a show, you know?
I think that'd be really interesting because bounty hunters, we haven't really seen what they're like, what their, you know, structures or organization. We have a little bit like in the Clone Wars and stuff with Maul, but that'd be interesting to actually know them, to get to know them personally, these bounty hunters, especially Bosk and stuff, people we haven't really learned about that much. Maybe even that, what's his name? That guy with the hat and the dog? I forgot his name.
Embo.
Yeah, what's his name?
Oh yeah, Imbo. Imbo would be so cool.
Embo. Like, dude, these people are cool characters, but we don't know anything about them. It'd be cool to finally, you know who they are and learn about their, you know, personalities and their ambitions. And yeah, I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's a high possibility because I don't know, like in the Clone Wars, they had like a little group going on. You know what I mean? And I don't know, did Ur Singh die? Did she?
Yeah, she died.
Yeah, she died, but yeah. So, but we still got the rest of them. I think Bosk was an Empire, so Bosk is probably still alive for sure. And I saw IG-88 as well in that little scene with Boba Fett. So even in the originals, you could see that they still kind of, you know, they had a little thing going on, like maybe a little group, or I wouldn't say they were a team at that point, but even still, I think if Boba were to recruit people, those would be his go-to guys. And he needs, like, he's very vulnerable right now, so he kind of needs some, like, more people. Because as I said, imagine someone comes and tries to take it. He needs more than just Fennec Shand, you know? So maybe he calls up, like, Bosk or all of them and is like, hey, how would you guys like to come work for me or something like that?
Yeah.
You know, so I could see that definitely happening.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
Or maybe his enemies hire one of those bounty hunters, kill him. Like maybe we see a Embo versus Boba going on. Maybe.
That's true.
That would be epic. And just to like wrap that up, I mean, you guys mentioned Cad Bane, and like maybe like, you know, according to some things he died like right after the Clone Wars, so say if he did die then, maybe we'd have like a flashback or something. Cad Bane in live action would be so epic. I mean, come on, he would be so cool, you know? Okay, next category is, of course, the Sarlacc Pit, flashback. Obviously, Boba Fett gets killed by the Sarlacc Pit in Return of the Jedi, you know, and that was a pretty big thing, but then he comes back, and I just think that'd be very interesting if we got to see, you know, like, what actually happened there, you know? Like, maybe how he escaped, or maybe just, like, him actually inside of it. That would just be really interesting. And maybe he has, like, some PTSD or something like that, some sort of trauma related to the Sarlacc Pit, you know? And that's, like, a big part of the show. I just think that'd be very interesting. So what do you guys think of, like, the Sarlacc Pit in the show?
I don't think it's gonna really have a prominent thing on the show, prominent place in the show. Like, I don't see it as likely because Boba Fett seems to me like a very tough guy. I mean, a tough guy can still have PTSD, but you know what I mean. Like, I don't think he'd get phased by even a Sarlacc Pit. I really don't think anything can get to Boba. So I just think maybe he sees it and then he just ignores it. Like, I don't really see him clinging on to that.
I was just about to bring up, like, the Sarlacc Pit, I don't think is going to have any vital role in this show. But, yeah, I was just going to bring up as well, but I think, imagine if we see Han Solo in the show. Like, imagine he tries to track down Han.
That was my next thing.
Yeah. Because, you know, I was kind of thinking, like, you know, Maul got cut down, you know, in episode 1 by Obi-Wan. Imagine if they take a similar approach to this, and Boba Fett's like, man, screw this bastard. I gotta find him, dude. I gotta, like, get some of my dignity back for this, you know? So, yeah, maybe we see Han. I'm not sure. Like, they cast the guy from Solo. I don't know, make him a little bit older.
I think I know what they could do. They could not even show his face. Like, maybe he just shows up and you see the back. You see Han Solo's back with his gun, you know, with his gun, like, at the ready. And then you just see Han, like, killing Boba or something like that. I could see that happening. Like, in the end, he just kills him.
Maybe.
Like,
And yeah, I think that'd be really cool because obviously Han Solo, even if it was an accident, you know, he did end up killing Boba Fett, or, you know, they thought he killed him, right? And so obviously Boba is going to want his revenge on Han Solo, and maybe there's going to be a whole, like, couple episodes in the middle of the season. I mean, it'd be stupid if that's, like, the whole focus of the show, because that just wouldn't be too original, but, like, maybe, like, an episode or two just about him either finding Han Solo and doing something with him, or, like, having a fight with him. Okay, that kind of concludes that little thing about Han Solo, you know. I guess you guys, 2 questions. What are your, like, just any final thoughts on Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett? And then also, like, do you think the show is going to be good, bad, you know, decent, horrific, you know, whatever? And I guess Shad, you can go first.
I think that the show is going to be pretty good. I don't think it's going to be as good as The Mandalorian, but it's going to be pretty good. Because everything that Disney has put out so far in well, actually, I don't know about the Bad Batch, but, you know, the Marvel shows have been pretty good. And The Mandalorian has been pretty good.
And the Winter Soldier.
Except that one. But everything else has been pretty good. So they've had, like, a couple misses, but most of their stuff has been a clear success.
So I think that this is also, I agree with Shad, it's going to be a pretty good show as well. I think there's a lot of things they can do with it, and I think it could, again, branch out into something else, like maybe another Boba Fett kind of character, like a new bounty hunter comes in, and it just creates room for more possibilities. And I think what Shad's getting to, all the live action stuff has been pretty much a success, like Mando, and then you got Loki, WandaVision,
yeah.
Like most of the live action, they know what they're doing, and I'll give them props for that. Mm-hmm. Animation, I think they gotta work on a little bit, because Bad Batch was but overall, I think this will be a pretty good, not as good as Mando, as Shad said. I don't think it's going to be as good as that, but who knows, maybe if it did, I would definitely be fine with that, you know?
Well, first of all, I'll give my kind of thoughts on what I think of the show. I mean, it looks cool. You know, we talked about, like, the bounty hunters and then maybe, like, Han Solo and stuff, and I think all of that sounds pretty cool. So, yeah, I think the show could be good. I mean, I don't really like them making a show on, like, every character in existence, but, you know, Boba Fett is pretty awesome, if I'm being honest, so this should be pretty good. Okay, yeah. So we're gonna do one more, like, little quick category, and then we'll kind of, like, you know, conclude the video. As I mentioned at the beginning, I thought we might talk about Mandalorian Season 3 just, like, a little bit, you know, kind of off to the side. So what do you guys think about Season 3? Like, where do you think they're going to go with that? And where do you want them to go with that?
They're probably going to go with Bo-Katan trying to get the Darksaber from Mandalorian. I could see, that'd be kind of cool. Like, or I could see them going with the same Grogu thing. But I hope they don't do that, because I want this show for the last 2 seasons has been basically half Grogu, half Mandalorian. I want it to
I was
be.
about to say that, man.
Yeah, I want it to be fully about the Mandalorian. I want to learn about him now. I want to learn about his culture. I want to learn about Mandalore. I want to learn about all that stuff, you know. And
Amen.
Bo-Katan versus Mandalorian, that'd be cool. So
Yeah, what about you, Luke? What do you think?
If I'm not mistaken, I think we saw a poster, and it had Luke Skywalker and Grogu on the poster. If I'm not mistaken, that's what I saw.
Yeah.
So I think this route that they're going to take is they are going to do stuff, what you're saying, Shad, but they're also going to have like another part of the journey. Like it's going to split off back and forth, I think, between Luke and Grogu having their own thing going on. Because they're not just going to show Luke and Grogu for no reason, you know what I mean? They're not just going to show that and tease it and, oh, yeah,
Hey,
they're not
hey,
in
Luke,
here.
you're starting to turn to Shad. You're making weird noises over there. What's going on?
Yep. Yep. I don't know, man.
I'm a bad influence.
His voice got me. Because, you know, episode 5, like, Luke and Yoda had their own thing going on, and then Han and Leia and Chewie had their own thing going on. I think it's going to be kind of like that. That's at least what pops up in my head.
Do you like that?
Yeah.
Do you agree with that? If it does go that way, would you agree with that or?
Well, I do agree with you on. I would like to see. Honestly, if Grogu did not show up in the show anymore, that would be fine by me. I would be fine with that.
I completely agree.
But I just think that that's what the route that they're gonna take.
So if you guys want to hear what I think, I mean, I really agree with both Luke and Shad. You know, like we got so much of Grogu in seasons 1 and 2, especially season 2, and I kind of just feel like, you know, I want a little bit of a break from that. So what I would personally like, and well, you know, obviously season 4 isn't confirmed, I think the show is like popular enough for them to keep going after season 3, you know? So what I think they should do is in like season 3, really like Shad said, you know, really focus on the Mandalorian, right? And Mandalore and all that stuff. Maybe even focus a little bit on bounty hunters a little bit, but mostly Mandalore, you know? And I mean, you know, maybe Grogu has like a couple, I don't know, cameos or something like that, you know, but I don't really want him to be in season 3 too much. But then I think in season 4, once we've had kind of like a break, you know, from you know, Grogu, we can kind of come back, and that one could focus on Luke and Grogu and some of the Jedi and stuff. So that's what I personally would like them to do. Yeah. Okay, well, that basically concludes all of our points. Yeah, I think Book of Boba is gonna be pretty cool, you know.
Make sure to subscribe to us, dude. You know, we got some good stuff coming out. And yeah, thanks for having us up, man.
Bro, I'm trying to say the outro here.
What's your outro? I don't even know your outro.
Same.
And as always, make sure to get lost, hit the road, take a hike, and I will see you on the next video.